I got there.
That took a long time.
Yeah.
To find YouTube and then find the stream. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a Liam and Joe bonus show. Bonus Liam and Joe show.
Bonus show.
The bonus show. Welcome to the bonus show. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Tuesday afternoon. If you haven't already, make sure you hit all the magical YouTube buttons for us. Smash that like if you enjoy the content. Subscribe if you haven't already. 34% of people aren't subscribed so far. And you can also hit the bell notification icon if you want to be notified every single time we go live or drop a new video, which you can also do by becoming a member, or if you're very lucky, like Drew is, you can be gifted a member. Brandon has already started the first gift of the second week of January 2024.
Yeah.
Well, legend, thank you so much. You are mute. Am I mute? I shouldn't be mute.
Liam, it's harder to hear.
Yeah, I was mute. It literally says that on the front of the mic pack. But I was loud enough that you probably should hear me through Joe anyway, right? Anyway, professional.
Yeah.
Some of the stream might not be quite so professional. So
It will be all professional all the time.
today is it's a bittersweet day. I'm happy and I'm sad. I'm excited and I'm kind of annoyed. And we want to cover both, right? I saw someone in chat already saying, I hope we can finally be positive about Old World. There is going to be some of that. I promise you there is going to be some of that. But I need to address some issues first before we get to that particular part of the stream. Now, Joe and I personally are incredibly excited by Old World. It's a game that we both really want to play. It's a game that I think we both played previously. I think we're both very excited about it. We're excited about old sculpts. We're excited about new sculpts. We're excited about seeing new releases and new models for things like wood elves and high elves and dwarves and all that kind of stuff, and warriors of chaos. So on the whole, I would say that in terms of the actual game itself and the actual product that's coming out, we're both very hot, but very, very excited by this. Like incredibly excited by Old World. I think that's fair to say.
Yes.
I know you're turbo excited about Bretonians.
Yes.
On the flip side, the release has been a bit of a shambles, to say the very least. And we're going to probably cover that a little bit first, because I won't lie, I had a message from a guy who on Instagram who said, you know, well done for reading the room and not releasing content on Saturday when everyone was so incredibly angry. That wasn't intentional, that wasn't on purpose. GW's warehousing team didn't do a great job of getting the stock out to us earlier on time. I actually received it 2 days before Christmas. Joe was already on his Christmas break. He did offer to drive down and pick it up. I was like, it's your fucking Christmas break, have a Christmas break. Which means that he didn't actually get his hands on this stuff till last week. And as you can see right up here, there's already smashed out a single model for us, which I've shared so far with the Thanes. We'll put it on Instagram with a nicer photo a bit later on so you guys can see it. But we didn't get stuff ready to play. And I'm actually kind of glad. I didn't post at 10 o'clock on Saturday because we didn't have anything ready to post. And I don't want to be the creator who just goes, hey, look at all this fucking cool, expensive stuff that I've got, right? Good afternoon, Liam, your mic is off. It shouldn't still be off. People should still be able to hear me now. Like, I don't want to just do one of those posts that goes, look at all these boxes GW sent me, because I just think that's a bit tasteless. Yeah. And it turns out this weekend specifically, the world of social media agreed with that. Yeah. People were particularly angry. Here's the thing about the preview program, and interestingly, I answered some of these questions yesterday on the painting phase. I went and saw Peachy yesterday. I went and met Peachy.
I'm jealous.
He's going to come down here, so you're going to get to meet him as well.
Yeah, I'm going to touch his face.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll actually probably like that. Yeah. We answered some of these questions yesterday, so I don't want to ruin what's going to come out next Monday on the painting phase as an interview. However, I touched on this a little bit. The preview program, in essence, doesn't kind of work right now. So GW released a load of articles, okay, about Old World. They have been doing for about a month now. Yeah. We can't talk about it apart from what they've released. We can't talk about what we've got. Last Sunday, not this one, just gone the one before, hey, all this stuff's going up for pre-order on Saturday at 10 o'clock. We can't talk about it. We've got it here, can't say anything about it, not allowed to because of the NDA, right? 10 a.m. hits on Saturday. Now, the stuff was sold out within an hour, probably even quicker than that.
Yeah, much.
So what's the point in preview content? What's the point in previewers? If you're selling your product out within an hour on Saturday, do you need any preview videos? Because you sold out already. No. So our content would have literally been pointless. We're showing off a game that's already sold out. So the idea of previewing is we go, this product's really cool, go and buy the product. This game's really fun, go and buy the game. Yeah. But what's the point in that content if you're sold out within an hour? Because there's no way that those people that are buying that box, so that are sold out within an hour, have gone round, watched all the content, and then bought the box. No. Because if they'd done that, guess what? There wasn't enough stock again.
Yeah, the thing is though, the website the queuing system is a double-edged sword, right? I don't know because I didn't get a chance to buy anything.
Exactly.
Right? I went on, I had an hour wait, and then just threw my phone across the room because I was like, I'd like to get some of the metal models I could never afford to buy when I was a child, but now I have adult money, I could buy adult things. So I was going to buy some peasants and then Reliquary for the Bretonians, and by the time I got there, it was sold out. But I don't know if it was limited to one per person.
I have no idea.
Because I think it should have been.
Yeah.
Because the reason they put the queuing system in on Saturdays was to combat and fight scalpers. The problem is, if you don't release enough stock to deal with the queuing system, then it defies the point of the queuing system in the first place.
This is a very interesting discussion. I have unfortunately seen what is a lot of incredibly angry people on social media, and a lot of those angry people on social media have aimed their anger at creators who have been given preview sets. Let's be honest. First of all, preview sets are normally constructed outside of the retail quota.
Yeah.
If we're producing 100,000 sets to sell, the creator stuff is not a scratch on that, and two, probably sits outside of that manufacturing process.
The guy who used to be Games Workshop's community management team, the guy who did the painting phase a couple months ago, and he basically explained the process of like before a release comes out, months ahead, head office will go, how many previews do you have that want it? And then he'll go, this many. And then those will be produced, sent out, and then they'll produce the run. So they're two separate lines.
But I would also, there was a little part of me that does kind of get people's anger. I've queued for an hour, I can't buy what I want, and all I see is Billy Knobhead on Instagram, who's now just holding 8 boxes that they've not even fucking opened, and going, look at all this stuff I got for free. Like, that is a bit of a kick in the teeth, to be honest. I do think those posts are a little bit tasteless.
It's more of a case of like, when you know, I'm not going to point any fingers here, but the app known as Instagram, right? There's a lot of people that do receive stuff for social media.
Favourite Instagram rant, here we go.
Right. But like, what are they doing with it once they've done that post?
Nothing, Joe, that's the problem. I think that's part of people's anger.
Yeah.
Is often nothing happens with that stuff.
Because when it comes to us, you know it's going to get used. Because I'm going to build and paint these armies, and then we're going to use them to create videos. And these will be used for the next couple of years.
Oh, easily, yeah, 100%.
But what are those other ones being used for?
And I don't. And again, like I said to you, right, I didn't want to put a tasteless post on Saturday about, hey, we are doing old, because I did think about actually getting a photo and going, we are bringing Old World. One of the things I will say on this particular launch, and this is specific to this one, is they did have problems getting stock out. If you watch Mr. the Warhipster's video that he put up on Saturday, he was very upset about the fact that he couldn't get anything ready, but he didn't receive anything until Thursday afternoon. Yeah. Did a video on Saturday apologising for not getting anything painted. It was like, you got it less than 2 days ago, mate.
Yeah.
So I will give some people some breathing space. Again, optics, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people in social media won't be aware of this, but a lot of people got their stuff incredibly late and so couldn't prep. And when you consider this isn't a model, it's not the Lion, it's not Angron, this is 2 huge boxes of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, to get that ready for a game is a significant amount of work.
Especially if you're like, obviously there's 2 of us and we've got painted out, so like obviously I do the painting stuff. But even for me, to get all that done in 2 weeks, like a week a box, is a grind. Like, I wouldn't be able to stream. I wouldn't be able to come here for 2 straight weeks, basically. So to get all that done in 2 weeks. Where if you're like a one-man band, someone like Josh, who literally, he sits in his room and he just does nothing but paint all day and all night.
Yeah.
It's a bit, but I also, part of me also feels it's something to do with controlling leaks as well. If you think the Horus Heresy stuff, that went out a long time before release for channels to build and paint and get it ready so they could do the Horus Heresy event. And then leaks were rife, weren't they? Like the whole both books were fully released in picture form as PDFs for people. Whereas I think maybe that's the reduced, but the problem is this is a whole new game system. This is like releasing Horus Heresy 2.0.
It is a new game system, but the support for this new game system on release is already a bit bad. Like, again, you know, I don't know GW's manufacturing process. I don't know their warehousing process. I wouldn't profess to be an expert in this field whatsoever. So maybe what they do is literally everything they can do, and sometimes it's not quite enough. But so often we see a big release. Kill Team After the Dark was a case in point. The Lion, Angron, 8bound. So often we see these releases and people cannot get hold of this stuff for literally months. Again, I'm a previewer. We're a preview channel. I think being a previewer is important and pretty integral to the channel in general. That being said, if no one can buy the stuff, why are you sending people previews? Like, what's the point? And this isn't about if they hadn't sent us these two boxes, someone else could have bought them. It's not about that. It's like, well, what's the point? Now, luckily for us, they probably won't restock these for another month. We've actually got some time now. We might actually be relevant by the time they restock the website. We might then be able to promote a game that GW have stock for. But the other thing as well is, me personally, excited about Bretonnians, excited about Tomb Kings. Are there either of them an army I want to play? No. What army do I really want to play for Old World? The one I've decided I'm going to try and pick and go for is Wood Elves.
Yeah.
Can you buy Wood Elves right now? Nothing. All they put up for pre-order is Bretonnian and Tomb King stuff.
Before we go into this is I have a massive gripe. With the system. Is that obviously they've told us who is available, who will be supported, and it's the things that won't, and the stuff that won't, but that will get rules in a Legends type way, are all the stuff that's had range refreshes since release.
Kind of, yeah.
So
mostly Chaos Dwarfs haven't.
Chaos Dwarfs haven't. They were squatted, weren't they? But like
also rumoured for AoS, by the way.
Yeah, Warriors of Chaos, Vampire counts, two of the main lines that have got beautiful range refreshes. And games like, oh no, it's part of a different time. I was like, yeah, but you've got 2 ranges of beautiful models that people can literally buy now.
Yeah.
Just sell packs of square bases to put them on.
Yeah.
Whereas the stuff that you can get, we're putting behind a timed paywall essentially, and you can only get them through scalpers, which are charging through the ceiling for old kits.
Yeah, literally through the ceiling.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit sad that for a lot of people out there that hit the website up on Saturday, they couldn't get hold of their stock. So much so, Joe turned up today, and I legitimately sat down with Joe and said, I'm thinking about cancelling the show. And we did tell you guys last week that we were going to do this show. I said, look, we can cancel the show. Or the other option is we can be straight up about how much of, quite honestly, a bit of a fumble this is for a launch of a brand new game system that I think a lot of people, and maybe, just maybe, GW didn't perhaps expect there to be as much excitement or as much demand for this product as there has been. I find that unlikely, but it is possible.
Like, I've got a lot of friends who hard to believe, I know. I've got a lot of friends who stopped playing Warhammer in 8th edition.
Yeah.
And they've gone to bolt action.
As in fantasy? Or 40k?
40k.
In 8th edition?
Yeah.
Okay, because they stopped playing. Last edition of fantasy was 8th edition.
Yeah, so 8th edition stopped, or fantasy stopped, went to AoS, so I'm not doing that anymore. Then they went 40k, went from 7th to 8th edition, don't like that. So they're part of like the old guard. We talked about this in the last Liam and Joe show. They kind of were like, I don't like this new Games Workshop beast. I'm going to go and play Saga. I'm going to play Mortal Gods. I'm going to play Star Wars, Legion, Bolt Action. And then Games Workshop has released Old World, and they're all coming out of the fucking woodwork. They're like, oh, I can get my high elves out of the shed. Oh, I can get my dwarves out of the loft, kind of thing. And they're all coming back. And it's like, to say that this game, for Games Workshop to underestimate how popular this game is, I find that hard to believe.
So I do as well, and I'm trying to not be just completely negative about this. Like I said, I almost decided not to do the stream because I didn't want to be the person who's like. So it's so bad. I'm so conscious of how this looks that Joe was putting these 2 boxes in front of us, and I was like, do we leave them up or do we take them down? Now people know we've got them, so actually we're not really fooling anyone.
Pretend that we don't have them
would be silly.
Would be disingenuous.
What I can categorically say to you is that over the course of the next probably month or so, Joe will be working on both boxes, probably, and getting them both ready to use. And we will be, in the future, bringing Old World content to the channel for you guys to enjoy, hopefully get excited about, and perhaps even put on whilst you hobby at home with us building your own Old World armies. Yeah. One thing I want to ask, this is kind of a plea-ish, sort of, maybe. Tactics have already done this, and they're significantly bigger than us, so they probably already had people offer it to them. If you have Old World armies that are relevant and usable, that you want to sell or lend, give me a shout, because I would actually like to be able to bring to the tabletop something that isn't Bretonnians and Tomb Kings. Yeah. Because we're in the Leviathan phase of the game right now.
Yeah.
Bretonnians versus Tomb Kings.
I was
Tomb Kings versus Bretonnians.
In the stock corridor, the box library, Obviously, I've got my vampire counts for AoS I started, which I'm gonna port across to Old World. They're gonna keep their round bases. There are companies out there that do round-based conversion kits to square bases, or you can just have movement trays that have round holes to put your models in. So that's what I'm going to do with those. And do have a lot of Warriors of Chaos.
You do.
I've got Warriors of Chaos at home, and we've got some Warriors of Chaos out there. The question is, do we put it all on square bases, or do we have round bases on round movement trays?
Real tough one this at the moment because I want to be bringing AoS to the channel this year as well. Yeah. It's actually quite hard. But yeah, if you want to lend us armies and we can learn them and use them for a bit whilst we start to build we're in a weird spot right now because I don't have any of my old world stuff. We have some AoS stuff. You don't really have any of your old world stuff. So we're like, hey, we're really excited about this game, but we're kind of both just starting from scratch.
Yeah, essentially, I sold everything off.
Yeah.
Back when it died, when they killed it the first time, and I was like, I have no use for this anymore. I sold it all off.
If you are an individual who wants to lend us something, give me a shout. We can put together a little contract where we make promises and we sign off that we'll cover damages and stuff like that because I think that's fair. If you're going to lend us stuff, alternatively, if you want to sell us stuff, let me know. At the moment, after the build of the studio, we're pretty broke. But we could probably work something out.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring something that isn't just Bretonnians versus Tomb Kings and Tomb Kings versus Bretonnians. If you look at it, there's 9 main factions being supported from the off. I'm personally excited by Wood Elves and High Elves. There's obviously the Empire. There's Dwarves, which actually quite excites me as well.
Yeah, once I've done the Bretonnians, now I've said it out loud, I kind of want to do... Obviously, I want to get my vampire counts done. I kind of want to do Warriors of Chaos. Because when I did Warriors of Chaos back in, would have been 8th edition, it was blocks of subpar Chaos Knights, and then the Warriors of Chaos were like this.
Love it.
Which meant they ranked up really well.
Love it.
Because it was like having an army of terracotta warriors, but now they're actually quite posable.
Yeah.
So
if you're one of those people that had a really shit experience this Saturday, I'm really sorry that you had that shit experience. It's not great when you get this much hype about a new product and a new gaming system, this much excitement. They released it for pre-order and you can't get your hands on it. Again, from a creator's perspective, I almost argue what was the point in having previews for this? It sold out so quickly that no actual preview content was probably really worth doing. Now what's going to happen is people watching preview content already excited about the stuff they may have already bought, or not watching it angry that they couldn't get their hands on it. This is just a me issue with the creative program personally.
Some of the odd issues with the content that's gone out as well, minor gripe. I never complain. People know this about me. Happy and positive all the time. One of the weird things is because it went out so late, you could tell it went out late because people that have done battle reports and stuff or preview videos, their armies aren't even painted.
But the thing, here's a problem I have as well. Okay, right, this is a slight tangent, Joe, but it's relevant, and I'm going to probably sound like an arsehole now, but here's part of the problems that I have, with creators. What really is the benefit of preview content to a creator? This is where I think the whole
drawing a new crowd.
This is where I think the whole program is a bit broken right now. Okay, I think that the bonus to being a preview is kind of twofold. Like point number one, you get stuff for free, right? And I don't care who out there on the internet argues with me. If GW offered to send you stuff for free, you'd say yes. You just would.
I know. I have had people ask like, "How do I get it?" I want all the codexes.
They did a thing not too long ago on the launch of 10th edition where they surveyed, here's all the products we're going to be shipping out to people. Can you honestly let us know which ones you want and which ones you don't want? And I went through very honestly and I said, I don't want Legion Imperialis. I don't want Age of Sigmar right now because we're not doing it. I don't want Blood Bowl. I don't want... And I went through very honestly, very, very honestly about it. I'm not looking at currently covering Heresy. And I said to them, like, I'm hoping I can update as that changes. And I tell you, there's a fucking urge to go, yes, I want all of it all the time, everything.
And there are people out there who did that.
Yeah. So you get free stuff, and everyone likes free stuff, right? And the second reason, realistically, why do people put preview content out? Views. That's it. The whole point in a preview program, the whole point in getting a product before it goes to launch is you actually get to review the product. You actually get to put it out there and say, I think this is a good product or a bad product. This is the things I like. This is the things I don't like. And you put it out to your audience. What actually happens in the 40K world or the hobby world in general is, how can I get this out as fast as possible, quicker than everybody else, so I get their views? That's what actually happens. This is a bit sad. So I'm kind of a bit lost as to what the point in previewing this was when it sold out so quickly, because no one would have had any time to look at what anyone said before they've made the choice to buy it. Okay, so yeah, tough. It is what it is. But that's enough on that. Like I said, it's a ton of toxicity. The one thing I will say, when you do see people having a go at other creators, and I saw a few people in the Instagram world, and some people not, even Mikey from Hellstorm got some abuse about the fact that he had Old World boxes. Just think really carefully. Creators actually do, I'm going to stick up for some of them now. A lot of them do put a ton of work into making content and prepping content and getting things ready. If you watch Warhip's video on Saturday, you'll see how genuinely kind of heartbroken he was. He couldn't actually get something ready for the launch because he paints fucking everything Games Workshop sends to him.
He is one of the few that literally every box set that Games Workshop sends him, he paints.
Yeah.
Every time.
So these people work super hard, and even if you don't agree with the creator program, I don't necessarily think there's an excuse to be toxic behind a keyboard on social media, because at that point, you're just a bell end. So if we get toxic, you know what happens on the channel now. If we get super toxic people, the first thing I do is look down the camera, call them a cunt, and get a mod to ban them. Done. See you later. We're good. Anyway, just think about that. Like, I know people are upset about it. I get it. I know people are mad that they couldn't get hold of it. They will essentially. It's bragging on Mikey ever unwarranted. Well, no, but they will restock it. That being said, we will move on to how excited we are about this game, because I am fucking excited about this game.
First?
Hang on. And so we'll talk about the contents of the box, what's in the box, the things you get. We'll open one up in front of you. This one, they've both been opened and looked in. This one's complete. There's some sprues out of this one that Joe wants to talk about. And he did manage to paint the guy. We can show this guy. We can show this guy.
Yeah.
We did manage to paint the guy on banner to show you guys already. We'll talk about those in just a moment though. Beforehand, I have seen you people go mad in the chat with super chats and gifted memberships. We have come up with a brand new content concept today. I'm not going to do it today, because we've already come up with it today. But what we're thinking about doing, going forward, every Tuesday and Thursday, probably after this week.
OnlyFans.
Yes, essentially, kind of. From 6 till 7 is when we do a lot of our get ready to play prep here on the channel. Okay, 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. Joe builds a table, armies get deployed, etc. What we're going to look to do going forward as a behind the scenes special for members is we're going to stream that process Tuesdays and Thursdays to members only as a warm-up act, okay? Like the slightly shitter comedian that comes on before the main comedian. Like when Eddie's on camera before we're on camera. That kind of thing, right? The warm-up act.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be streaming that to members as a trial period. I don't know how long we're gonna trial it for. We'll probably trial it for a month to start with. Because it's members only, we can be chilled. We'll just be setting up the table, setting up the studio, getting ready to go. Because it's members only, you can ask more questions. We can have a chinwag. You can talk to Joe about his process of creating the table and why he's thinking what he's thinking. I put the idea to Joe today. He went, oh, yeah, not too bad. Put the idea to the Thanes. The Thanes said they love it. We're going to start it probably next week, maybe, possibly. So keep an eye out for that. All you people that have been gifted memberships today, you'll get access to it, because you get a gifted membership for 30 days. Talking of gifted, you got a lot to get through, Joe, yeah.
So Brandon Legas?
Legas? Yeah.
Lasagna.
Thank
you for the gifted membership. SDJ, wish they would release fantasy with round bases.
I mean, there is a weird kind of almost like double charge. If you play Sigma and you play fantasy, some of those models, like, it's fine. If you've got a movement tray with round holes in it, okay, who gives a shit? It's rank and file. But if you're using a big model that's got a round base, I personally wouldn't care. I'm like, bring your round base.
The hero bases in AoS are vastly bigger. Vastly bigger.
Yeah, and they're kind of important for fighting.
There's no reason why some of these armies couldn't be used. Like, for instance, if you wanted to use Bretonnians in AoS, it wouldn't be hard to find the space sizes of all the new Cities of Sigmar stuff.
Yeah.
And then just run it as a Cities of Sigmar army. You do it that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll have some gaps in the army for, like, you won't have the pistolier peoples and stuff like that.
Ozzy says, I have no life. I'd watch a security cam stream of the empty studio, probably.
Yeah. There are people that watch people sleeping, and they get loads of views.
We're not going there, Jay. Let's not carry on.
People don't want to watch me sleep.
Yeah.
There's
The
spoon in my
bases
dog.
are an actual gameplay mechanic is the issue. That is the problem. Like if it's rank and file, you get away with it by using movement trays. But if it's like a hero or a chariot or something like that, it does become a problem. So
Thank you, Norris44, for the 1 gifted membership. Thank you, Son of Olympia, for 5 gifted memberships. Stick Monkey, I need to get my Tartars out on Instagram so I could get the Kill Team boxes going forward because it's the only way to get them.
fair. Facts. Straight facts. You get tens of thousands of subs if you do that as well, and followers.
This is a rabbit hole to fall down.
It's a dangerous rabbit hole, and I'm grumpy today.
Yeah.
So we probably shouldn't go down that rabbit hole. I slept for like 3.5 hours last night. I am fucking grumpy today.
The opinions will fly.
Let's not, because that's how we get ourselves in trouble and a bunch of people unfollowing. So let's move on for that one.
Big Bad Peter Gaming. I bought my Bretonia and books from Wayland Games, and they had you can only buy one of each, which is the right idea. Bombardment. I think it is the right idea.
100% it's the right idea.
I think right, here are, for the first weekend, you can only buy one. 1 o'clock in the morning, Monday, go nuts. That gives you a full, 10 o'clock on Monday, because that gives you a full 48 hours to get there to buy it.
The problem is, so when that's the lion, yeah, cool, whatever. When it's Angron, agree.
Yeah.
When it's an army box, which makes 1,250 points of an army,
You need 2.
You need 2.
You need 2, or you need one of each additional kit that they sell. Because I was looking at the Bretonians, like, if I get the box set, I still need to buy. I want to get one of each of all the other stuff. It's going to cost me hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but you do need one of each, or you just get 2 of them.
Exactly. And that's the only time where I'm like, okay, get it. I still don't necessarily, like, I think what you're saying is probably the right idea. One to start with, come Monday, go nuts.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're saying if there's a hugely high demand, we offer more people the opportunity to get something.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with you, by the way.
I don't know how the Games Workshop website works.
Badly, really badly.
Besides badly,
it's awful.
Right? If you, chat might know this, if you queued and you bought something, you bought your 1 box, you bought a book, you bought an additional box of models, right? Once you check out and you've paid for everything in the checkout, do you go back into the queue again?
You can, yeah.
Or do you just got free reign on the website?
No,
then?
you have to go. It's like once you've done your purchase,
Yeah.
You end up having to go back into the queue. I think. I'm pretty sure you do. I'm almost sure you do, because I also know people where the website has fucked their purchase up.
Yeah.
And they've had to. It's like, oh, you need to log in, and they log in, and it goes, oh, you're numbered 400 in the queue. Oh, good, great. It doesn't work that way. Exactly.
Thank you, Big Bad Peter Gaming, for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Big Bad Peter
Thank you,
Gaming,
Chaotic Failure, for 10 gifted memberships.
10 in this economy.
All right. Thank you, Stick Monkey. It's insane. They've released a new game. It's insane they've released a new game. Anyway, they only released Legion Imperialis a few weeks ago, and that's not got everything available yet. Well, Legion Imperialis was delayed, wasn't it? Because they had to recall all of the preview.
I mean, come on. God, we shouldn't say this, but fuck it. I'm tired and grumpy. You've seen how many times they move the dates.
Yeah.
Well, often when you get the preview email through, here's your date. Oh, half of them I don't look at that date. What's the fucking point? Because it changes 3 times.
There's times I read it and I got it wrong, and then I've got loads of time to get it done, and then I'm like, oh, I'll get it done in 2 days' time. That's no problem.
I'm like, Jeff, you've been working on that thing? Yeah.
It's definitely done.
I think releasing the games so close together isn't a massive problem because they're wildly different games.
Yeah, 2 very different markets.
If they'd have launched Old World and then in a month or 2 months they launched Age of Sigmar 4th edition, I'd be like, that's fucking crazy because they're both fantasy setting.
Releasing Titanicus, releasing Epic and Old World together or near each other is 2 different markets, but it does serve a similar
It's a nostalgic hit, yeah. It's for the old guard.
2 different people.
But I think that I don't actually think it really overlaps that much.
No, because
my biggest issue with it isn't even the. I think the biggest point here though isn't necessarily the overlap to the potential consumer. I think the biggest issue is the production problems. So it is potentially fair to say that if production was in full swing for Legion Imperialis, and then production stops for Old World, and they don't have enough time to build enough stock.
The only people that can fuck this release is Games Workshop. And that's because
And they do.
I personally think, because of what, there's 9 factions supported.
There's 9 main supported factions.
Right.
The other all the other factions have rule sets.
Are they getting a box?
No, they get nothing. And they're considered legends, again, which means that specifically for GW official tournaments, at least, you won't be able to use them at events.
It's like High Elves, Wood Elves, and all that lot. Are they getting an army? The ones that are being... Right, let's assume, right, we don't know this.
Good question, Joe.
We don't know this. Let's assume they will get a box set, right?
I would be very surprised.
Because that's your start collecting box, isn't it? Really?
I don't know. I'm really torn as to whether I think they will or not.
Is, start collecting boxes for 40k makes sense because the game is supported at 500 points all the way to 2,000 points, right? Whereas Old World is very much a 2,000, 1850, that's your starting point, right? 1250 is your starting point because that's what the box is. So anything below that is pointless. You could do a big box and an add-on box. This is an extra 750 points to add to get you.
What do you think, chat? For the other 7 main factions, put a 1 in the chat if you think they will get a big box like these. A 2 in the chat if you don't think they'll get a big box like these.
Yeah. So
I'm leaning towards 2.
I think they should get a big box, right? But the thing is, though, if Games Workshop waits 3 months to release the next army, this game is going to do terrible. Right? We're going to support... What they need to do is they need to go, here's an army box a month for the next 9 months. Or in this case, 7. The next 7 months, every faction that we're supporting gets an army box. And then by the end of the year, we might have released an extra couple of characters for each faction and stuff like that. I think if they get an army box out a month, this game will do well.
So it's split in chat, but the majority are showing a 2 right now, or they don't think we're going to get a big box. They'll get a box, but not a big box.
What they need is a big box without the rule book. I'll do these chats and then we'll go into the boxes.
Okay, yeah. Ignore the phone call coming from the top. It's gone now.
Oh. Thank you, Son of Olympia. Good thing I kept my old Tomb King stuff, saved loads of money on the pre-order. Yes, we'll go into that in a minute. Thank you, Benjamin Dustin. Not interested, but really happy for others, though.
Oh, that's nice.
That is the best way to be on the internet. I've seen the thing.
Fucking rare.
You're a unicorn, you are, Benjamin. Right.
He is, in fact, a unicorn.
Yeah. I've witnessed a thing on the internet. I do not have opinion on this, either good or bad.
Good for you.
Right? I could either write something or not write something. I'll write something, but I'll be like, I'm happy for you.
That's nice.
Well done.
Yeah.
You know? Good. Simon Edwards, do you think they've legends the other factions so they don't cannibalise AoS sales and so they can clearly track how successful Old World has been? Short answer, yes.
Potentially.
Yeah. It's because...
I think they are making a concerted effort to differentiate the 2 games. So, hey, look, we're going to give you rules to your Skaven if you really want to use them, but actually we as GW have decided that Skaven belong in AoS now and not in...
Well, the thing is, I think they will as they move the timeline forward, haven't they? Because they've started... This is how they've justified it, really. The timeline for the Old World starts a lot further back before the Old World that we were used to.
Yes.
Before, when it was a lot more factionalized and the Empire wasn't so much of an empire. So there was lots of rival factions within the human society and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adrian, for the one gifted membership. Thank you, Just Jupiter, for the 1 gifted membership. Just Jupiter, wasn't that a TV program on Netflix?
I don't know.
Why
are you asking me about TV programs, Jay?
I don't know why.
Come on.
Lehman Russ, happy birthday to Lehman Russ on his 30th birthday. Happy birthday, Lehman Russ.
Is that happy birthday to himself? Is that
Yeah.
Yeah. He's sending us money for his birthday.
Yeah.
Everyone, super chat £10 for Lehman Russ's birthday.
Yeah.
He won't get it, but
we will have an exciting lunch for him.
Okay, I don't. I saw someone say, "Do we think that Old World will take over AoS?" No, I think they're making. Conscious choices to try and keep them as relatively separate as possible. You could say Tomb Kings and Bone Reapers are similar, but they're not. The model range is very different. I think if you look at the fact that vampire counts, which basically exist in AoS, are legends. Skaven basically exist in AoS, are legends. There's a number of others we can go into that do follow a similar model. I guess you could argue that you could use Cities of Sigmar as Empire, maybe even Bretonnians. You've got the cavalry in Cities of Sigmar, which aren't metal, which I think people will probably convert to Bretonnian horses in the future. Because with plastic in it, people just like to work with plastic.
This is where me and Liam differ a lot, actually. I fucking love metal models.
This is where we are polar opposites, 100%.
Absolutely love them. And I cannot wait to get my hands on the metal Bretonnian stuff. And what I want, right, I want to have a full, because I used to have it in the past, and it was my pride and joy until I fucking dropped one. I had a full metal army of dwarf slayers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
have nostalgia for it, but in this day and age, I don't want to be buying it.
If that army in a case was a fucking nightmare, because whatever case you put it into, the brakes and the hinges broke, because there was so much weight in one box.
So hate's a strong word for metal, but I just don't like. I have one of the Thanes turned up on the launch weekend for this place and handed me a case full of metal Eldar stuff, right? Warp spiders, swooping hawks, etc. I'm never going to complain about that. Never going to complain. What's my alternative? Right? 3D printed resin from a different company. Don't really want to do that. Or Finecast. Don't ever want to buy Finecast. Ever. No one should ever buy Finecast.
Yeah.
Anyone who ever buys Finecast ever should probably be stabbed in the jugular. It's a stupid idea. Don't do it. What should have happened is they should have released that product. Everyone should have bought it, realised it was terrible, and then no one should have ever bought a Finecast model ever again. And that department should have just flat failed. And the person in charge of it should have been sacked and then hung in Nottingham city centre.
I don't think. It wasn't received incredibly well. And I don't think the department had a great time anyway.
That's enough about Finecast. So I don't like in that regards. I'm like, would I rather have metal warp spiders, Finecast warp spiders, or no warp spiders? Well, I'm going to choose metal. But would I buy? Am I happy about a new release coming out? And I'm going to inverted commas a new release because it's kind of not new but is new. Go on to that more in a minute when we open these boxes. But a new release comes out, and I'm buying metal models that are at the quality that they were 20 years ago.
I think.
And when you look at the quality of metal models for Infinity, specifically, have you seen the sculpts in Infinity?
Have you built an Infinity model?
No, and I don't like paint. I personally don't like painting.
I would rather take the pieces and shove them into my eyeballs than build another one. But they're stunning models. But whoever designs a connection, right? The connection. So if someone's holding a gun, right, like that, right? A lot of companies would have it so that the arm joint here is together, and then you glue the gun hand on, right? For strength, right? The connection points are the elbows, and they're smaller than a fucking pinhead. Yeah. It's like.
So I've not built them, and I personally don't like painting metals. I know that you have to prime them, and then you have to fucking start varnishing them straight away.
When you build a metal model, it's like the same as building a plastic model. There's flash on it.
No, it's not.
There's bits you have to clip off and things. You have to trim it to make it. But once you paint it like a plastic model. Because one of our Thanes asked this, like, how do you paint a metal model? You paint it the same as you would a plastic model. You base coat it and you paint it. But once you've painted it, you then have to protect it. Those additional levels are what people don't like. Because you have to go, I had to put a gloss varnish over the top. And then you have to put another varnish over the top of that because you don't want it to be shiny.
A lot of people that I know will varnish them after the base coat because they're so bad for chipping paint off of them.
Or sometimes if you've got sweaty hands as well.
And here's the other thing, right? Someone said this in chat. We're buying 30-year-old metal models with the old casts, but we are paying near modern day prices for them.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
So this goes on to the other conversation that we need to have is the price. Like you are like, it's overpriced, where I'm like, it's actually well priced.
How much is this box, Jay?
160, 70 quid?
175, I think it was, remember rightly. Right. And to be fair, at £175, there is a 352-page, the Old World Rulebook in it.
Knock off 40 quid then.
I would have gone 30 to 40, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We'll go.
Because most rulebooks are about 35, 40
so
quid.
We'll go 35 then. We'll go middle of both of what we were thinking.
Yeah.
All right, so it's £140 now.
Yeah.
Right. 21 six-sided dice. 21 specifically because there's 20 dice and a scatter.
Yeah.
Okay? 21 six-sided dice. How much did they sell 20 dice for? I mean, they wouldn't really
Games
sell.
Workshop, like those old ones, those cubes like £7.50.
Yeah, all right. So we'll call it £5 for sake of easy maths. Not to 135. Templates and measuring sticks. Reference sheet. 93 Citadel miniatures. Okay.
Yeah.
And so at that point, you go. We've taken off the rulebook. We've taken off the dice. We've taken off the sticks, etc. You've gone £135 for 93 models. Right? Is cheap. It's cheap, chat. Right. Modern day prices for this thing, I get it. It's a new sculpt. And on the sprue here, it says Games Workshop Limited 2023. New design, new sculpt.
It'd be 50 quid only.
New design, new sculpt, new cast, whatever you want to call it, whatever they call these things, press, cast, whatever they call them. Right? Get it. I get him being modern day prices. Okay? You're going to struggle to see models on this because there's so much empty space on this sprue. Why is there so much empty space in this sprue, I hear you ask, Joe?
Why is there so much empty space on the sprue?
Thanks, mate. Games Workshop, 2002, it says on the sprue.
Aged to perfection.
2002. Now, I could bore you and go through all... By the way, there's four
That's literally
skeletons on a
22
sprue.
years ago.
4 skeletons on a sprue, just so you're aware. And I could bore you and go through all these. Here's a chariot, right? Again, you're going to struggle to see the models because there's fuck all on this sprue. They could have got all this in the modern day on one of these. This is a slightly... No, it's the same. It's 2002. I lied to you. Horses in a bag. Just 2-part horses that you push together.
Yeah.
Now, for me personally, from a nostalgic perspective, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
At least you're not going
genuinely.
to struggle to find the piece, are you? On this roof.
No, you're not.
Where it's like, find piece 147, which is a quarter of his elbow.
Whippy sticks, everyone loves whippy sticks, mostly for hitting Eddie, and templates, okay? Glad we got these open before he turns up later.
Yeah.
So nostalgic me, genuinely super happy, incredibly happy, like just cheerful. Chariot, there you go, more. What's the number of this one? 2002. So it looks like the Tomb King stuff was all 2002. I'll give you a clue, chat. I hadn't left school. I didn't leave school until May, whatever it was, June.
I left in
2003.
I left 2004.
Tell the difference between a modern day sprue and an old sprue.
When I was in college in 2005.
Which one's the new sprue, Joe?
I want to say that one.
You would be correct. These are all
But
saying
if you
2002.
think in terms like it's a rank and flanks game, isn't it? That's the thing.
No.
So you only need the front rank to. So this is something I was talking to Josh about the other day. Is that his learning of the painting process in Old World has changed from how it normally does, right? Because when you paint a squad of Space Marines, you paint an AoS unit. Every model is basically a character, essentially, isn't it?
What's this, Joe?
These are 2 horses.
2 horses, Joe.
Yeah.
Can you please read for me on the sprue here, Joe, the date for these 2 horses that I'm paying £175 for this box?
You're paying £197 for these.
175 for the box, I said. Listen to me.
1993.
1993, Joe.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is, considering they still have the old dates pressed into them, we haven't developed new molds, we haven't developed new machines, we haven't used new process, we haven't updated the model range, we haven't changed anything from near 30 years ago, but we're charging 2023, 2024 prices. Now, I am incredibly excited by this game. I have a huge nostalgia hit. My problem isn't the models. It's not because I don't care about them being old models.
Yeah.
I do care about paying new prices for old models.
So, for anyone that isn't aware, I used to work for a company called Triple Helix War Games. I'm not sure if their web store exists anymore, but I know that AA War Games, which was their eBay page, which I used to work for, does exist and it's doing very well still. And when I worked for them, we would sell a lot of Warhammer Fantasy models, right? And they went for mental money, right? So when I worked for them, one unbuilt Bretonian horse, knight, one unpainted, unbuilt, so still on the sprue, would go for £12,
It's quite a lot on it.
right? Built and painted to a subpar level, they'd probably go for about £8 each, right? So when you think a squad of 6, or 6 times 8, 8, 16, 24, £48, right? For 6, right? So you're looking.
You had to do that.
I know. So 2 squads of 6. So let's say £50, right? That's £100 in just 2 units of knights in that box set. And this box set's £155, right? So if you go by, and then like
I don't think that's
the
fair.
peasants and the bowmen and stuff would go for like £20 for 5.
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
I think, but you got to think, right, that the price that people were willing to pay on eBay before Old World was announced was mental.
But that's not a fair comparison. Like, you can't, as a company selling this product, you can't look at what it's going for on eBay and go, we get away with charging this because it's going for that much on eBay. That shouldn't be a comparison.
So this is where the whole luxury item argument comes in, doesn't it? Really.
This is the plastic, by the way. I'm showing you that you get in 1 box of Tomb Kings, which is reasonable. You do get a lot of plastic for your £175.
For £150, right? Or 155 for the I think the Bretonnia box set is incredibly well priced.
And it is a fucking chonky old rule book.
I think how much we need to see how much the 40k codex goes for.
The 40k rule book.
Yeah, let's have a look quickly.
Dave B's favourite, a big bag of square bases. They are the little annoying dice. They're not the nice dice, Joe. They're not the nice 32mm dice, whatever they are we use. They're the little ones. The little dice.
Oh no, sorry people, I have to use the Games Workshop website. And now they have actually created a Old World section, which I'm quite... Shop the Old World.
They're not the clearest instructions in the world.
Oh no, it's already gone Pete Tong. Right, shop Old World, and unless you click on a specific thing, it all goes horribly wrong. So the rule book on the Games Workshop website is £42.50.
For 40k?
No, it's for Old World.
More square bases.
So the book that comes in the box is £42.
Okay.
So £40. So then you think, if you look at that one, so £40, you're looking at £110 for all the stuff that comes in the Bretonian, right? And if you look, the Pegasus Knights on the Games Workshop website, they're charging £40, which I think is mental. I think 30 would have been fine.
I just have, like, for me personally, would I consider one of these boxes reasonable value? Actually, yeah, I probably would.
I think, right, if you're starting if you want to make a 2,000 point army, you buy 2 of these box sets, that's £300. Maybe you end up with 2 rule books. You could sell a rule book or whatever, but you've got 2,500 points then of an army that you've paid £300 for, which is much less than a 40k army.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And when you paint, because I was going to try to say it earlier, when you paint an Old World army,
sorry, I interrupted you.
You paint the front rank, which most people tend to do, which is your command section, a few extra people. A lot of people just paint them really, really well to a very, very high standard, and then everyone behind them is very much tabletop ready.
Well, Peachy, who I was with yesterday, by the way, my new best friend. Don't know if I've told you
Not
that.
at the end of this. Hear the end of this for a while.
New best friend in the world, Peachy.
Yeah.
He was saying on a previous page, there wasn't even the one I was on yesterday with him. I was on with him yesterday, I don't know if I told you that. He was saying on a previous episode that even for the dioramas and stuff, they paint the front rank really well. They give the front rank to heavy metal.
Yeah.
You paint that front rank, and we'll, as army painters, we'll paint the rest of it.
Yeah.
And hundreds of models painted in a day.
Yeah. And I was talking to Josh Warhipster about this. That's how he's learned to do it now, and his process has become a lot faster. I think the Old World prices are fair in what people were willing to spend before, but
it's a really interesting. It is an interesting argument.
As someone who has sold it previously for a couple of years, when I worked at that job, sold it for a couple of years, the amount of money people spent on Old World was insane.
Here's a question. So I still think that they could have been a bit cheaper on these.
Yeah.
Here's my biggest thing that I don't like. My biggest problem with them is that they are 2 different price points. I feel like how much a Combat Patrol box? £95 or whatever.
They're all different prices.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they? I thought they were all the same.
They're roughly around the same, but they are different.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm gonna stay my tits. I thought
Hang on,
they were...
we'll check before I blow.
I actually
blow a
thought
hole in
all combat patrol boxes were £95. That's what I thought.
Bear with people, right?
The biggest issue with these for me personally is the discrepancy in price. I feel like they would have been better being priced the same. And I think, so how much was this one? 155 for this one?
155.
175 for this one? Would it have hurt them that much to lose 20 quid from every Team King box? I think it would. What I need from chat specifically is...
Oh no, combat patrols are all 95 quid now. They were different prices.
Sorry, Liam, you were right.
Sorry, Liam, you were right, but that's 95. Right, but for 95 quid, what you actually get is fuck all.
I'm not
Right.
saying they're better or worse value, but at least they're all new sculpts pretty much.
What comes in the Votan combat patrol?
20
for £95.
20 Hearthguard warrior, 20 Hearthkin warriors,
Yeah.
a Carl, 5 berserks, Sagittar.
No. You get a Carl, 10.
I thought it was 20.
You get 10, 5 berserks, and 3 bikes for 100 quid.
But what would the independent? What would the sum of their parts be if you bought them separately?
Much more.
Much more. Exactly.
But if you in this box set, Mr. Horseman, well, Mr. Flyy Bird Horseman, £37.50.
We have a problem with him as well, by the way, chat.
I have a major problem with him.
This is time for Jenny to be negative.
Right.
I don't know. Like I feel like they could have just been the same price. What I need from chat is a get out of jail free card to just start doing Tomb Kings instead of Eldar, and then I can help you, Joe.
The Grey Knights Combat Patrol box for £95 is a bit of an insult.
I'm sure it fucking is.
5
Terminators,
a Librarian, 5
Strike Marines,
Strike Marines, and a chonky suit.
Yep.
The baby carrier.
the old Dread Knights. But the Dread Knights themselves are like 50, 60 quid, aren't they?
Yeah. Not all combat patrols are built equally.
No.
No.
They're not.
The Dark Angels one is...
Right.
Right, so...
Joe was going to talk... Joe's got a problem.
So, I've got a problem, right?
Let's talk about this problem. I'm going to open this.
In this box set, you get a Duke on Royal Pegasus.
In the big box set.
In the big box set, which is this sprue here.
Yes.
Which is your Pegasus.
That's your Pegasus.
Right?
Your floaty, flyy horse bird.
Yeah. Pegasus, not to be confused with an alicorn, which has got the unicorn horn. When a unicorn gets wings, it becomes an alicorn, not a Pegasus. My Little Pony taught me that. Right. And then on this sprue is your Duke or Baron.
Never changed.
Right?
Though. Yeah.
Right. So, right, cool. In this box separately, for the Pegasus banner, you get a Pegasus. It's the same Pegasus, right? And then on a sprue, you get a banner guy, right? Whose pose is identical to the Baron and the Duke. Identical pose.
Yeah.
Right? The only difference is their tabard, their head, and what's in their right hand. Right? And they come in a box the size of 2 sprues. But in the box, you get a sprue and a half. Why didn't you get a box with the 3 sprues in it? So then they only have to stock 1 on a shelf, right? But it comes with all 3 options. And the people like me that absolutely fucking love standard bearers and banners, I could buy this, build a Baron, and then I've got a banner free that I could have someone else.
Well, so you just explained why they won't do it.
It just looks cool.
Because arguably this is more efficient for them. They're not giving you parts.
Yeah, but they're still selling it for the same price.
So, okay. So what happens if you want a banner and you want a Pegasus guy?
You just buy 2 of the same.
You have to buy 2 of the same kits. Okay. Do you think someone somewhere out there, if they could, would go, I'm going to build my Baron and magnetise the banner for when I want a banner?
Maybe. But the thing is, though, you've got to create 2 different stock items, 2 different SKU codes.
Oh, no,
I get
it.
Separate stocking things, when actually it's one box set. Like Harlequins, you get 6 models in the box set. You have 6 players, or 6 in a troop master, or 5 in a troop master and stuff. It wasn't beyond their control or even put his sprue in that box.
Do you know what, chat? I purposefully haven't read the rulebook or opened this until today. I did it on purpose.
Why?
We did it with 10th edition, didn't we? We didn't play the game properly until we did it on stream.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Joe.
Yeah.
There's your rules.
Can't wait.
And that's before you get onto this next part here. Here's your terrain rules. Jesus fucking Christ. There's a lot.
Before we go into that, I've got 3 more super chats and stuff to do. Thank you, Kazarian. Thoughts on the 4 Old Bretonian squads being on 4 instruction pages. The new Duke on Peg is on 5 pages, and what it says about modern complexity. So basically, more models are more complex. They require lots of pages. So this guy here, whom I absolutely fucking love, right?
He's been very excited about this guy,
He
chat.
is. I think I've painted him quite well, if I say so myself.
I think he's.
Right.
This is going to be immortalised on camera.
Yeah.
Joe, he's done an incredible job.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
I love it. I love it. It's great. It's a beautiful model. And I want to keep
You've done a very good job.
Right.
And no one can tell that you've used an Imperial Knight sticker on his banner.
I had to. Right, so one problem on the box, the symbol that goes on the banner is quite large, right? But the transfers that you get in the box aren't big enough. So I used the Imperial Knight horse head, the Trojan horse, to go on it, and it actually fits quite nicely. It is a model designed to be built as one, but you need to sub-assemble it to paint it well. But it's not designed to be sub-assembled because of how parts overlap. So that was the problem I had to get through. Yeah, he was a bit of a pig to paint, but beautiful model. But yeah, my issue is that they could have just had 2 as one set. That's my biggest gripe.
What else, Joe?
Wood elves.
What else?
Do you know what I want to see a return of? Because we've got the new modular movement trays.
The King.
No.
Oh.
Is that they had textured ones back in the day.
Back in there.
Back in the day. Because what I've seen, everyone that's done the movement trays in the content for Old World, they've not sanded or textured the movement trays around the edges to make them fit in with the armies.
I kind of miss the old flock mats, like the flock tables.
No,
I kind of miss them.
It's like touching the green part of a Brillo pad. Oof.
I kind of miss them a little bit. They look awful, but I kind of miss them.
Boxes used the old
Realm of Battle board.
Realm of Battle board,
Yeah.
and that brought back emotions for me when I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like,
I bet everyone can't wait to watch competitive Old World. Anywho,
he's already broken the game as well. How do you beat a rank and flank game?
Yeah.
Play it like AoS, only use skirmishers.
yeah. What does everyone want from a super narrative-based game with a narrative-based rule set? How to break it?
Yeah.
Good. Well done.
No, I like the old style of instructions for Old World because they're just easier to build and pay. Like the models, like the guys who have shields, you keep all the shields on the sprue, paint them on this stuff, and then you have all the other models built. It's super easy to do. The complexity, I don't have an issue with complexity in characters, but not in the ranked models.
I did see, I think everybody say, you can stop Eldor and do the Tomb King's Doom and we'll let you off. I think everyone said that. So.
They did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Also, for the Tomb Kings, Battlefield in the Box do really nice Egyptian-style terrain.
Do they?
Built painted stuff. I'll show you later. We should get it all, because...
We should get it all. I don't have a bottomless pit of money, Joe.
Why not? Right? You can go laughing, jumping through the fields.
I've built this work environment for you.
I know, and it's great.
Just for you.
But I want more terrain.
I'm sure you do.
Right? It's not expensive, Battlefield in the Box either. Right. Thank you, John Burkett. How does the amount of plastic number of models compare to the content of the Horus Heresy 2.0 starter box? Also, Bombardment.
How much was that starter box? 200 quid? 180 quid? Something like that? It was expensive, wasn't it? Because that I always thought that box was incredible value, but I also know that every single model in that box was brand new.
Right,
it was.
It was, yeah, that's undeniable. Start here. Right.
Liam has to stop Eldar. He can't be allowed to finish an army. Are any of you worried what happens to the universe if I actually ever finish an army?
£185.
GW website.
GW website.
So £10 more than Tomb Kings.
Right. So £10 more expensive than Tomb Kings. In that, you get the rulebook with a transfer sheet and a rules reference sheet.
Can we just be an Old World channel now, Joe?
Yes. Right. You get 30 Mark 6 Marines, Corvus pattern.
I thought you got 40. Because I thought you could split it evenly into two
Yes,
forces.
you get 40.
40 Space
right?
Marines.
But 40 Space Marines that are near on identical.
I mean, we're talking about skeletons here, mate.
And a pig to build, right? With split shoulder pads. Whoever decided to make the knobbly bobbly shoulder pads split deserves to be fired out of a cannon into a brick wall.
I mean, that was the dumbest decision anyone's ever made ever. And the worst part about that was they had, in fact, previously released those same shoulder pads in one piece.
Yeah.
So someone was clear, like, it's Friday, innit? This is a laugh.
Yeah.
I get 40 Skeleton Warriors, which is significantly less plastic. So we've matched so far.
Yeah. You get 2 characters.
I get a Tomb King and a Lich Priest on Necrolith Bone Dragon.
Yeah.
Lich Priest? Lich Priest? Yeah.
You get a Spartan, which is your bone dragon, let's be honest.
Okay.
Your boner dragon.
I thought you were already getting better value than me.
You get a Contemptor Dreadnought.
I get 16 Skeleton Horsemen.
Yeah. And you get 10 Cataphractor Terminators.
I get 32 Skeleton Archers.
That's it.
So you get all these nice, pretty 2021 sculpts, I think they were, and I get all these average 2000 sculpts, and it's £10 different. I think that's a better value box. When you look at the price, okay, I mean, I'll be straight up. When you look at the price of that at £10 more than this, I think that's better value than this is. New plastics, old sprues. Now, when you compare that with the price of the Bretonian box, this one's slightly more appealing at that point. There's a £30 difference, slightly more appealing. Okay.
Yeah, I think the Tomb King one is overpriced, but it's the big, massive Dragon Man. Games Workshop have priced that AoS.
Who, by the way, I fucking adore. I've never been a Tomb Kings fan. I've never cared about Tomb Kings. That model is glorious.
Right. I like everything about the model apart from his head.
I love
it looks like a cartoon character that's run into a wall and then it's got the flat head, right? when like Tom's chasing Jerry and then he hits his head on the wall and he's got a big frying pan face, right? That's that thing.
I hadn't seen it. I now see it.
Yeah.
I still love it though.
Yeah.
I think the head looks really cool. I think it looks like a bony dragon. Well, you picked Bretonians and I let you have them. Despite the fact I wanted Bretonians, I was like, you know what? That Joe works really hard.
It would have been like the fight at the end of Lethal Weapon, which you've seen. We have to take our tops off and fight in a sprinkler.
Yeah. When we got the boxes sent through to us, Joe was in this group chat instantly, shotgun Bretonians, and he'd already talked about Bretonians, so I know how much he wanted to do Bretonians. And the first thing I said to him was like, no, I'm having Bretonians. And bless him, he was like, okay, I'll do Tomb Kings. And I was like, no, Joe, you can have Bretonians. You were just going to back down, bless you. Legend. What a legend. So, anyway, back on topic. The Tomb King box on the whole, I'm glad everyone's agreed that we can have it, so that's fine. I can do it instead. But I don't think the value is great considering they're old sculpts. I don't mind the old sculpts. So we did do some content.
What we could do, right? You could do your wood elves or whatever you want to do because Bretonia is.
Well, I can't do wood elves, Joe, because they're not out. We don't know when they're coming out. Because they're so good at communicating. Yeah. Nobody who's playing anything other than Tomb Kings or Bretonians knows when they're getting their stuff.
You could buy 1250 points of wood elves off eBay for £2,000. Right?
Minimum. Pro-painted.
Yeah, pro-painted. Also known as a paintball gun from 40 metres away. Right?
Pro-painted by Timmy, the quadriplegic.
Yeah, so we could give that box, right, to Josh. He could do 2,000 points. We can get him on, and me and him can duke it out. And you can sit here and cry.
I want old world stuff.
But then you do an old world. We could get you another old world army that you want to do. You could do chaos. But I built and painted.
I'm okay with Tomb Kings.
Fine. Thank you, Jill. Paint Elder and Tomb King simultaneously. Miss a unit, shave a patch of beard.
I don't feel like these would be that difficult.
Right, so anyone that's put out instructions on how to paint Tomb Kings has lied to you. Anyone, right? All you do, spray paint them white or a bone colour, right? If you've got, and then what you do is you use Skeleton Horde on all.
I was going to say, surely you Wraithbone Skeleton Horde done.
No, so what you do is you use a more bone dustier colour, or you can use white, and then you paint Skeleton Horde in all the hinges. Done. Maybe a dry brush afterwards.
I mean, the characters have a lot more detail on them than.
Yeah, you spend time on the characters.
But they're not like, they don't look hard. Dare I say that?
Right, in your defence, right, I fucking hated those skeleton models before, like when they were available.
Why?
It just looks so derpy.
They do look a bit derpy in
What
places.
I do like about them is they do remind me of those old stop animation skeletons from.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Chris Galloway. Sent photos of Sylvaneth. I have some dwarves as well, if you'd like them. They're old and would need stripped though. Love you, Joe. Bombardment. Love you too,
Bombardment. Chris has anything else in Sylvaneth Army to play AoS with on the channel.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's painted and it's pretty. So he's like, "Do you want to borrow it?" I was like, "Well, if you're
good
sure."
egg. Yeah.
So what hero?
Yeah, but I think part of me kind of wants to redo my entire vampire stuff that I'd already done onto square bases to prove that I can. But I'm not going. All right, thank you, Richard C. Not interested in old shitty sculpts, as you said. At least Horus Heresy is new sculpts. So hard pass on Old World for me. So like I was saying, there's no reason why you can't, when they release the rules for the factions that have had range refreshes in AoS, there's no reason why you can't just get the square bases and put them on them.
But this is my thing, right? I don't have a problem with the old. Like, I honestly, if they manage to restock these, if you actually manage to get your hands on it, whether you're a Tomb King's fan or a Bretonnians fan, I don't hate these boxes. To be clear,
I think they're great.
I do. My personal opinion, if I'm going to give you an actual, proper, honest review, my personal opinion is the Tomb King's one. I honestly think they should just have taken the hit and made them the same price as two boxes. To be honest with you, it makes it more compelling choice between the two. I think if you buy the Bretonnian box at £155, you take the £42.50 rulebook out of it, right? Which means you're left with like 110 quid worth of box, right? And you get all of that stuff in that box for 110 quid. Yes, they're old sculpts. They're 2003, most of them in the Bretonnian box. We'll go through the box in just a moment. I actually think, especially if you used to play, Fantasy in 7th or 8th edition, I opened both of these boxes when we received them, and honestly, I was lucky enough to get these boxes 2 days before Christmas. I got them on the 23rd, they came through my door, right? I actually genuinely opened them both on my birthday in my office, because I had a quiet morning before people started turning up for my birthday, and I opened them, and I had this incredible goosebump, like nostalgia going, it was amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And what I really did genuinely like about it is when I was able to compare and contrast the nostalgic 2003 Bretonnian models with the new stuff they've done, and you get to see how far they've come. I genuinely had a very positive experience opening these boxes.
Actually, I think these box sets, right, like you said, those skeletons and stuff, if you're a kid getting into this game, right, do you want to build a Horus Heresy Space Marine who comes in far too many pieces?
They come in a lot of pieces, don't they?
Right, they come in a lot of pieces. Well, can you take Mr.
I'm going to put them over here on our coffee table that they can't see.
They can't see.
Our new coffee table
Or
they can't see.
do you want to build a Bretonnian man-at-arms who is a single-piece body, a shield, a polearm, and a head?
Even this, which is a cavalry piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces, because you've got a choice of heads and a choice of shields.
One thing I completely forgot about Bretonnian, one of the reasons I love Empire and Bretonnian Old World is some of the extra shit you get with it, right? So with the Bretonnians, right?
You just love extra shit, Joe.
Right, so on here, these tiny little extras you can glue to your men. One's like a spare, because they've got the flat helmets, and it's got like a sack on it. This guy's got a dead pigeon. This guy's there's like a dead pheasant. There's a rabbit here. This guy's just got a club.
It's just it kind of goes more down the historic wargaming kind of route.
Yeah,
right?
like, it makes sense that these people would carry their food in such a way, fresh.
I actually also think that, personally speaking, having skimmed some of the rules, in terms of narrative content, this is going to be an easier game to cover, narratively.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't have to explain why a man stood in the corner of a battlefield facing the wall doing nothing for a turn. I don't have to explain that.
You're like, why is these people stood in the corner? Because they've got a massive cannon, and they're heavy as shit.
Could have a trebuchet.
Yeah. Can't wait for honestly, right, this game, for me, is so exciting because I loved it, and I do love the fantasy aspect of it all. but also it means that I can get all the kits I couldn't get when I was a kid. Just Jupiter says one of the perfect ones, one of the models I basically had everywhere was the powder monkeys. Right? There's a monkey that carried a keg of powder with the handgunners, and on his tail was a little candle.
I'm going to be honest with you,
light stuff. And basically, in the wizards could do different spells from different things. So if you did one of the wild magic ones, if it miscast, he died. So I always turned my wizard into a monkey when he
I'm going to be honest with you, Joe. I think you've lied to everyone.
Why?
I think there's one reason and one reason only why you like Old World.
What is it?
It's perfectly legitimate for every man and his fucking dog to be carrying some kind of banner.
Oh, yes. Right. Oh, so I
Tell me I'm wrong, Joe.
You're not wrong. I miss the days when one of the centerpiece models of your army was a guy with a massive fucking banner. Because battle standard bearers had rules as well.
Yeah.
You had normal company banners, and then you had army battle standards, which were carried by a hero, and they would give out aura effects or effects to people near them, right? But then I just liked watching old films with big blocks of.
I mean, I did this forever. Like, I genuinely believe that if they hadn't have killed Fantasy in 8th edition, if they hadn't done the End Times and launched Age of Sigmar, I was at that point in my wargaming career coming away from 40k and swinging hard into fantasy, and I actually personally preferred it. I've said this on the channel a million times before. I'll say it a million times again. My favourite narrative setting, in general, is Old World style, fantasy style. I would rather watch Vikings than watch Mandalorian. I would rather watch Lord of the Rings than watch Star Wars. You know, I prefer axes, shields, spears, bows, arrows, banners, mud fighting. I much prefer that setting. That's my personal preference. So when I grew up with 40k because of experiences I had and people that were around me, and that's why I grew up with 40k. It wasn't until I joined the army and met a guy called Lee, one of my closest friends, when he talked me into playing fantasy. He had Ogre Kingdoms, Bretonnians. I ended up with High Elves and Empire, and the aesthetic. And I get that, like I said to you before, I get that same nostalgic tingle when I open these boxes. That aesthetic is what I love. And I think that, from my perspective, at least, the narrative options and the way of making narrative work in an old fantasy setting is slightly easier, slightly less stressful. I prefer it personally.
Yeah.
If we look at Old World as a release, because what we're doing here is we're previewing, and we could, hey, look at all this shit we've got for free. Tough luck, everyone else, like everyone else has done. We're not doing that. We're actually trying to give you some kind of detailed feedback here with these boxes. I think the boxes on the whole could net be a bit cheaper. I think that the average could be a little bit lower, if I'm honest with you. That aside, if you are someone who's fussed about new, super detailed, super fancy sculpts, these are bad value. Genuinely bad value. If you want super detailed, super nice sculpts. They just are. I'm not, I've just been looking through some of these, and you've got swords where you're going to need to do some serious work to make them look like nice pointy swords. You've got mould lines on helmets that are in shitty places. If you really want really nice, really detailed models, and you want a fantasy setting, this is not the game for you. Age of Sigmar is the game for you, because they've been redoing all the model ranges for those, and they are, quite frankly, in my opinion personally, the nicest models that Games Workshop make across all of their ranges. Without a doubt. Right?
It's the best. I would say I would die on this hill actually. I think about it. Age of Sigmar is the best looking tabletop game flat
In existence.
Yeah.
100% agree. Yeah. Strong agree. Absolutely. Yeah. And I say that as a person who's never played a single game of Age of Sigmar in anger, just purely from model aesthetic. Okay. So if you want new fancy models, these boxes aren't good boxes for you. If you played this game before, if you're okay with historics and the kind of war games and the models that come with historics, these models are perfectly fine. And in that case, you actually get, from Games Workshop perspective, you get a ton of plastic in each of these boxes, enough to put a reasonable size force on the tabletop and actually start playing. Probably not the points that they want you to play necessarily, but you do get a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
Going away from models, what you also get in each of these books, as you're aware, is these fucking great big rule books, right? I am not going to sugarcoat this. There is a lot of rules. There is a lot of rules. You do have a quick reference sheet, which is more than you think it is, double page, quick reference sheet, which will help. And it gives you page references to go into the big rule book, but it is thick. I mean, this might have been the size of the 40k rule book if they actually put the 18-page clarification document in.
I think it's very much like Horus Heresy, or people that played it. Like, it does look daunting because the rule book is thick.
No, it is daunting. I think it is.
It is daunting, but like any game system, like once you've played it for a while, you won't need to reference stuff.
No, I agree with you. But what this isn't is a pick-up lunchtime game.
No. So I think Games Workshop now is very much going for a intro, intermediate, expert levels with their games, aren't they? Really?
Agree.
Like, so
this is expert.
That's expert.
Heresy's expert.
Heresy's expert. 40k and AoS are your intermediate, and then Kill Team, Shadespire, Warcry, those are your entry levels.
I agree.
And I think I don't think it's not a bad thing at all, right? And it also depends on the level of people what they want to commit to their hobby time and their hobby spending as well. So there's people like us who literally live and breathe hobby, and this is all consuming.
Very much
everything, right? But there will be people that work 40, 50 hours a week and have kids, but they want to spend 2-3 hours a week, a month at a mate's house just chilling out, rolling dice. Which means for them, they probably might do small scale combat patrols, or they'll play Kill Team, or they'll play Shadespire kind of thing. It doesn't take up much space in your house, and it goes to places. So I think Games Workshop now with this they're going for every fan base.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think what they're doing is they're covering all angles of multiple systems.
Yeah. And as a business, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I agree.
The only thing I would change with these boxes, right? These big boxes, is I wouldn't put the rule book in it.
No.
I feel like the rule book coming in a box set is better when you've got two armies.
So here's my problem.
Yeah.
This rule book comes in the Tombkins box and the Bretonians box.
Yeah.
Right? There's another Bretonian book you might want, Jay.
Yes. The arcane jobby.
There's another Bretonian book that you might want, Jay. And maybe here's a map you might want, Jay.
Oh, I want the map. Christ, I want the map. It's so beautiful.
But so
I haven't opened it up yet. Don't you just throw it on the floor?
So here's my issue, right? The Forces of Fantasy, army lists for the Forces of Good.
Right? Does that have Bretonians in? Because is this just Bretonians that come... This is just special characters. Oh, no. So this isn't... Right? What the fuck is this?
Exactly.
So this is a narrative Bretonian book, apparently. I've not looked at these, right?
The one thing I will say about this book, which is positive, right? Contents of this book, Joe.
Yeah.
Right? Dwarven Mountain Holds, the Empire of Man, the Wood Elf Realms, the High Elf Realms, Kingdoms of Bretonia. Right? 5 armies in one book.
Yeah.
Which is good, right? But you don't get this in that box. So if you buy this box, how do you play your Bretonians?
You don't. You don't play Bretonians with this book either.
No, it's an arcane journal.
So in this book, right?
So we were talking about expert level, right?
Right? This is Kingdom of Bretonia, Bretonian Exiles, Army of Infamy composition list. So this is your Army of Bellicor kind of style.
Army of Renowned.
This is your Army of Renown.
Yeah.
So it gives you some Banished Lord, some Exiled Vow, Reclaimed Valor special rules. Some nice. It's got lots of nice pictures in it. And then it gives you another Army of Infamy, the rules for the Green Knight, Sir Cecil Gaston, the Wormslayer.
Any named character.
Yeah. Lady Elise Touchard.
Any named character doesn't exist in this book.
Yeah.
Named characters are in your arcane journal.
That's silly. Why is that book not in there?
I know. This is the problem I had.
So what I would have done is I would have put all the Bretonian stuff that's in here, in this, and that comes in here, right? And you drop the price of the box by 20 quid. And then the rule book you buy separately.
Kirioth, there has to be army rules in the box, surely. Okay, right. Templates, Jay. Okay.
Yeah.
plastic models.
Yeah.
The other plastic models are already down here, which we showed you earlier to compare the two Pegasus people. More plastic models, his head's about to come off the sprue, just so you know.
Right. You get 8 heads and 4 models, we'll be fine.
More plastic models.
Another banner.
More plastic models.
Yeah.
Horses.
Horses.
Pegasuses. Flying stands. Some cardboard.
That's your protective card, isn't it?
Your rule book, sealed with your quick reference guide. This is your rule book, by the way. Okay.
Lovely. Oh, it's got a dent in it. Can I swap it with yours?
No. The Army of Duke Garcel the Red-Handed. Combat Patrol Force. That's what you get.
Are the combat patrol rules the same as your army rules?
I haven't looked. I'll be honest
As you know,
with
in 40k, combat patrol rules are slightly different.
So this part here is all instructions on how to build. Okay. This part here is your army rules to play. They are combat patrol rules. It is just your Duke, your knights, your Pegasus knights, your billmen, your more billmen, your archers, all with names already, and army special rules here. So you do get rules to play.
Oh, you do get the special rules on the Lance Fort, because Bretonians have a special rule because they're cool as shit.
So you get the same lance formation in here, by the way, as well.
Oh yeah,
Right.
so the Bretonians get to fight in a lance formation. So whereas everyone else's works in a single brick in a movement tray, the Bretonians have a lance formation where basically you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back basically, so they wedge through. So when you charge, you basically spear into people's units, and you get much better special rules. Oh, it's so.
As opposed to, so we've shown you the rules in there for Bretonians, as opposed to this thick chunk here, which is your Bretonian section of this book. So I don't. Would it have been too far-fetched to take that and put it in the box for the price they're charging?
Yeah, I would rather have that and the quick reference sheet in that book than the rules, because you buy the book. Because if you buy 2 of these boxes, you've got 2 rule books, haven't you?
Yeah. The other thing that annoys me about this,
And no army rules.
the thing that's really annoyed Joe about this, it's got the Bretonian rules in this, but it's also got the Wood Elf rules in it.
So I can't have it.
It's going to be here in the studio, isn't it? To be fair, so
But it won't be in my house.
it won't be in your house. Correct.
Also, will we get an army builder app?
I don't think we will. Have we had one for Heresy?
Battlescribe it is.
Battlescribe comes back. Look at that. Look at that.
Games Workshop sunk Battlescribe with 40k, but they're going to come back with a vengeance.
So before you get back into those, as we were saying, right, the rules are detailed, thick, and complicated. Most of this is in fact rules. I think if I go to about, no, not even there, here. Where is it? Lost in the Damp. Here we go. So if we go to about this first chunk here, right, narrative, rules. So, I mean, you get a lot of rules for your money because rules, much rules.
The thing I like about Old World, all happens in the same place as well. Like, if you show the map, in terms of the map, it's all in the same area.
I fucking love it, Joe.
Or you've got the map in the front of the book. You don't have to open that one if you don't want to.
I know.
That one looks like one of the Ordnance Survey maps that you get down the post office.
This one looks fancy.
Like, it all happens.
There's a wall behind us.
Yeah, there's a reason why everything happens where it does, and the reason why people have specific spats for people, because they're next to each other, they're landlocked next to each other. Whereas in 40k, there's millions and billions of trillions of planets. Or in AoS, like, you're in a realm. Although I do like the realms, specifically because I hate all of them apart from the realm of death. Because that's
the ones that you can't hear.
Yeah. In the realm of death, that's like old fantasy for me. It's proper grim dark, and everyone's miserable. And the only reason that people live there is because there's no space for them anywhere to go. And they all worship death, even the humans upside down.
There you go. Here's your map, Joe.
We'll have to get a fancy frame for it to go in.
I'm going to do the rest of the stream like this.
Yeah. Look at that. That's banging, isn't it?
It's fucking great, isn't it? I love this stuff. I'm mad for this stuff. I'm still a little bit, I'm very careful about your big Pegasus thing over there. I'm very and again, I genuinely wonder if they have purposefully targeted people like us who have that nostalgic hit. Because We saw the comment earlier. I think it was it Drew that said, I can't remember. Where it's like not interested in old models, not interested in old world. I've seen that a few times. You're not the only person to say that. I've genuinely seen that a few times, and I think, considering where model design is in 2024, considering where model design is for Age of Sigmar, even 40k, I get it. I do get it. If I had never played fantasy. Genuinely, if I'd never played fantasy, if I'd have had the journey that I had with 40k over the course of the last 6-7 years in terms of the channel, I started to buy up Age of Sigmar models and I opened up either of these boxes and I saw anything but the new sculpts. I'm like, this is shit. I would have had, I genuinely, this is what I'm trying to give an honest review here for people, especially if you've never played fantasy before. If you open these boxes, if you buy these boxes at these price points and you open them expecting to be wowed by the models on the whole, you're just not. You're going to go, this is fucking rubbish compared to what I'm used to. You just are.
Oh yeah, and it's also a weird one because you think the quality of those models is still better than what some of Games Workshop competition is putting out.
And that's also an interesting point. If you the guys at Factorum play tons and tons and tons of historic war games and different things like that. The quality of these isn't too dissimilar to the quality of some of the Lord of the Rings sculpts they sell. Genuinely, you're right. Some of the competition that make other game systems, this stuff is better. That being said, and I would never normally condone this, and if they're selling, when they get to the point that they're actually selling this stuff, I will flat say this is bad. But there are a bunch of companies out there that make STL alternatives for 3D printers that are just better in terms of detail. The one thing I will say is, if you have to paint 4 units of 20 to 40 skeletons, do you want all that detail?
No. So I'm on a more time group, and on Facebook, and some of this that's like 10, 12 models, and like the STL files that come out for some of those are incredible. There's a guy on there called Giuseppe who used to be the Forge World painter. He did all like the really nice Blood Angels paint jobs before they released some of their newest. His painting is out of this world, and he runs a really like in-depth painting group in Italy, and his STLs for like old world style stuff is insane. However, I wouldn't want to paint 46 of his bowmen.
No,
because I would be like, I will paint 5, the rest will be red.
Yeah. So I think if we're gonna get close to wrapping this up, I know we've got some more chats to get through. I'm gonna kind of give a final thought here. If you want to get a question in, stick on a postcard for us right now. Or we're gonna miss it, unfortunately, because chat's busy, and when it's just me and Joe and no producer, it's harder to keep up with what you people are saying. Thank you for all the gifters and stuff, by the way, as well. You people are incredible. If I'm going to wrap this up, though, if I'm going to talk about these boxes and Old World as a release, because we didn't get to do a game because we got it late, but I wanted to review the boxes and the contents. You do get a ton of plastic for your model. Whether that plastic is high quality or not is questionable. In terms of the amount you get for your money, I think that's good. In terms of the quality of what you get for your money, I think that's where it could be argued that the value is bad. They're old sculpts, old machines, like they've already been paid for. That's a problem. In terms of the rules, again, I've skimmed them. I've looked through the faction rules specifically when we got sent the PDFs through. I adore them. They are more complicated. They're not easy to pick up unless you've played the game before. And they definitely aren't necessarily beginner-friendly or something that I would try and put in front of my children, if I'm honest with you. No. So in short, if you are a person who liked fantasy in the past, I think you're going to adore this game. Genuinely adore this game. Yeah. If you're a person who enjoyed fantasy in the past. If you are a person who typically prefers sci-fi or got into fantasy settings through Age of Sigmar and their model range, and you've never played Old World, there's a possibility you won't enjoy this. And I'd be hesitant about suggesting you go and buy this game. I think this is an absolutely incredible nostalgia trip. Yeah. And I think I'm going to say this without, I don't want this to sound negative. It's going to sound negative. I don't want it to sound negative. I think this is an incredible money grab from GW. Yeah. And the reason why I say it's an incredible money grab is I think on the whole, with the exception of fucking their stock levels on release, I think they've done a good job of it.
So I agree and I disagree at the same time. And that's what makes us brilliant. Is that when you watch a game of AoS, how does it play out? You've got objectives in the middle, both armies start, and you just slam into each other in the middle, and someone wins.
Love it.
Someone gets double turn.
It's like playing my World Eaters.
It was great, right? Simple.
That sounds like my kind of game, Joe. Where's the bad point?
If you want an in-depth, more competitive game, not competitive, but
No, don't start using that word.
Okay, a more strategic game.
We'll take that one. I'll do.
This is better, right? Because it's all about like. So if you're fighting in the front ranks, it's all based on that because it's how force you to fight, and they march together and be like boof, and then you'd fight each other. Whereas like, well, I really need to devastate this powerful. This unit's really strong from the front, but if I charge them in the side, so if I get in and then wheel and hit them on the side, I get to fight with my rank-based bonuses, but my opponent doesn't get to fight with their bonuses because I'm attacking them from the side. No one's prepared to take us on the side, so you'd have to reform to get it, which means they'll get shield bonuses. If you attack them from the rear, obviously you're going to destroy them, and it means they can't fall back. So you can run in, kill a couple, and then you just decimate the unit, kind of thing. So
yeah,
it's more like you think more about angles. You think about where your cavalry are going to come in. You actually think about where you want to place artillery. It's not okay like with guard artillery. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to shoot you inside the locked room in a bunker 40 miles underground because line of sight or physics don't exist. But in this game, I need to place my cannon here because I know they're going to come up this pass, and if I can get it through the side, I can actually shoot through the side of their ranks and stuff. It's a lot more strategic game. I think that's where people who have played, I think someone said in chat, people that played Total War, that one got released when AoS got released. They released an old Warhammer fantasy game after they killed it. So I think a lot of that market's going to come back because they're like, I like this strategy.
What you've said there is spot on.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you, like I can't argue with any of it at all. If you're like even for so I'm going to suggest we've got 350 people. We've had over 350 people watching for most of the show. I'm gonna probably assume the majority of you are in fact normal people that watch the channel and 40k fans. Okay. If you're getting a bit tired of what is currently the 10th edition of 40k, and let's be honest, I think a lot of us are already getting a bit tired of it, which is concerning for people that run a channel and run a studio and have to pay for that studio, because it's very rock paper scissors. You know, it's very turn up. Oh, you've got D cannons and Wraith Guard. I can't beat you.
Yeah,
I can't win. And it's like I was talking. I don't want to put too many spoilers. I was talking to Peachy. He played his first go 10th over Christmas. It turned up with 40 Sisters of Battle, and after his opponent's first turn, had like 8 models left, and was like, "Oh, good game. Okay, I haven't played with any models yet." If you're kind of bored of that, that doesn't happen in fantasy.
No.
I think if you've never, the one thing I will say, so I have said, right, if you've played the game previously and you have that nostalgia for this game, you're going to love it. I genuinely believe you're going to love it. If you get your hands on it, you're going to love it. If you've never played the game before, it's very complicated, it's very in-depth, it's very detailed. I'm not saying don't get it. I'm saying manage your expectations. You're not going to be able to pull this book out straight away and just start playing. You're not going to be able to do that. If strategy is something that definitely appeals to you, though, I actually would urge you to give this book, even if you don't buy the big boxes with the models in, give the book a go.
Yeah.
I have skimmed it. I think it looks incredible.
Yeah, I think if you do know someone that has got 2 armies, be like, can you please dig them out? Can we please, like, just spend an afternoon? If you don't like it, you don't have to touch it ever again. But just commit an afternoon to looking at the rules, playing it, because like armies that are crap can still win under a good general, whereas in 40k, armies that are crap will just lose.
Yes.
So
yes.
Like so, if you turn up with an army of Phoenix Knights and high elf stuff, and someone turns up with a bunch of Night Goblins, those Night Goblins can still win if they're just manoeuvred correctly.
I'm so excited.
It's very good.
I'm so excited.
Very good. I think the boxes are great.
I was just really genuinely very sad over the weekend, chat. This is why we kind of started the stream on a bit of a low. I was just very sad at the weekend to see how. I mean, I guess it's kind of a positive to see how upset people were they couldn't get their hands on this. I think it does mean that perhaps this is more sought after than perhaps even GW expected, and I think maybe it's more sought after than I expected. I kind of thought that this wouldn't be a big game for people. I was certainly surprised to see the number of content creators saying that they were going to be covering it in the future, even if they were just doing a picture with the boxes on Instagram. So I was just a bit sad, and it was one of those things where I think I have wanted to be incredibly positive about Old World, and news feature upon news feature upon news feature, and including this release weekend, it's just kind of it's a bit. Hey, your models are 2002. We're going to be re-releasing metals for you to buy. We know we haven't got enough stock on release. I was like, oh, it's kind of crushing it. And I don't want to be crushed about it because I'm very excited about Old World. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I will say, channel-wise, probably shit live content. Probably better pre-recorded content.
Yeah.
Because I think some of the nuances of the strategy of Old World will not translate well to live.
Well, so, John H said, do you think Games Workshop should have made the rules more user-friendly for newer players rather than pretty much copy and paste fantasy rules? We kind of covered this earlier when we said that like Games Workshop's idea of going entry, intermediate.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think they should have made the rules user-friendly.
Yeah,
I think they should openly communicate that this is a more expert level.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. If you want to get rid of templates, cool.
Play AoS.
Play AoS.
Yeah.
You've got a fantasy game without templates.
Like, I think here is your fantasy session that's user friendly. Here's your one which is a bit more complex.
It goes Warcry, skirmish game,
Yeah.
low model count. It goes Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Decent sized model count, simpler rules than fantasy, but a bit more complex. Then it goes fantasy.
We've also got Underworlds, like Shadespire, which is like your. It's not even kill team. It's like 4 to 6 people and a deck building aspect, and that meets the criteria of people that are kind of interested in model ranges, but also like playing Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. Well, we'll go through the last few bits of chat. We'll say goodbye. We'll start prepping for tonight's game.
Thank you, Evan. It says, sounds like everyone loves Bretonians. Have either of you rode a horse or other animal? Thanks for the best morning show. Cheers, guys.
I have ridden a horse.
I used to ride horses all the time.
Yeah.
I grew up, like, I used to go pony riding, which I was forced into by my parents. And then my mum's had horses all the time, like, ever since I was a child. So I've been around and ridden horses all the time. I stopped in my teenage years because I got a quad bike. And you don't have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to muck it out and feed it.
My ex-girlfriend before Luce, actually, before I met Luce and got married, she was a horse rider. She used to do show jumping, and we would go and muck out the horses and stuff like that. And she had a fucking big horse.
Yeah.
I can't remember this thing's name, but it was a cross-country horse.
Horse.
This thing. Yeah, horse. It was a cross-country thing. She was like, because I'm a big bastard, she's like, you're gonna have to ride that one. And I remember her thoroughly loving it, whilst equally being monumentally terrified.
Yeah.
And I was sat there going, if this thing wants to fuck off, I've got no chance.
Also, whilst feels like someone's taken a massive wooden mallet to your bollocks.
Yeah. But you just sit there, you just feel this fucking powerful animal. You're like, if he wants to run that way, I'm not convincing him not to.
Yeah. Also, people do love Bretonians because cavalry charges are one of the coolest things ever. Best 2 moments in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Best 2 moments. Where the Rohirrim turn up and when the Rohirrim turn up.
Yeah.
Right? Best 2 moments. Facts.
Straight facts.
Right? Pelennor Fields, so emotional. Wept like a baby. It's so beautiful. So good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Horses, like cavalry, like if you watch any old school fantasy films or historical old films, what's the coolest bit? When they're like, horses, go!
Okay. Well, one of the things I like about things like AoS, like I shouldn't say this because it's terrible to do this sort of thing. Oh, here's your new Rough Riders. I bought 30 of them. I just fucking love cavalry.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make so much sense in the 41st millennium. But when you like, and I was a little bit sad when they released the Lumineth Realm Lords. It was like those weird like goat running things. I was like, and I think they're incredible models. I think it's super cool.
They got like cavalry llamas now, haven't they?
Yeah, they weren't just actual cavalry. I was like, oh, I want more cavalry.
But like, one of the best parts of Gladiator, the first 10 minutes, full cavalry charge through the woods. They didn't expect that.
Straight facts out.
Right.
Cavalry's
Into
cool.
French people.
Which makes it even cooler.
Yeah. But now Bretonians are French, so mixed emotional messages going on.
Well, could you not claim that they're Belgian?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, the Empire is very Germanic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Paddy O's.
Thank you, John McKyle, for 50 gifted memberships. We love you, John.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liberty Fires, for 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Megan Pryor Favor.
Oh, hey, Meg.
For 1 gifted membership. Much less impressive after John, but we appreciate it.
Meg's pretty impressive, to be fair.
Well,
it's fine. Yeah.
Thanks,
Meg.
Is Meg going to go over to, because all of her content's AoS.
I don't think all of it's AoS, but I think they have a higher focus on AoS than they do on 40k.
Yeah.
Meg, are you and Zach and the team doing Old World? Let us know.
We were talking about events and stuff this year, and I was talking about I want to do. John says I got Paddy. You did.
He did, yeah.
Like about doing events. I want to do a lot of 40k events this year.
TP says dodged.
This year I kind of want to do AoS and Old World events.
So okay, here's an like I was going to wrap the show up. This is an interesting 5-minute chat though, right? TP says dodged, by the way, chat, which means they reckon you can't snipe them. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I 50% agree with you. I kind of don't really want to do 40k events this year at the moment. I'm not really feeling it, right? So what I feel like I'd want to do with Age of Sigmar events, I wouldn't want to do this rule set at a tournament where I've got a time limit on a round.
Yeah, I think we start easy. We go AoS events. Annoyingly, I've got a bunch of some of my friends are going to AoS events this January. Well, now, this month. I'm a little bit jealous because it's a doubles event. What I want to do, ideally, if I could do an entire year of just doing doubles events, how much fun would that be?
I love doubles.
Because when you go to a tournament, especially 2-day events, you're essentially spending 15 hours on your own. And sometimes your opponent's really good. Sometimes, massive knobhead. But most of the time, lovely people. But you're on your own. Whereas I haven't had a bad doubles event.
So you're saying we need to find AoS doubles tournaments and go to those?
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm fucking into it, Joe. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back up to here. Thank you, Joseph Swenson, for 1 gifted membership. Thank you, Son of Olympia. Are the new rules compatible with old missions? I'm going to say yes.
I have no idea.
Old fantasy missions used to be very end game based.
I can't.
Or they were like, hold this pass, like Hotgate style. Or like, there's a house over there, a house over there, a grave over there. Whoever holds it in the game wins.
I can't see it being a problem.
Yeah.
It's
very much old fantasy. Why have we gone over here? Because I want to go live in that hamlet.
Because I want the well.
Yeah. Because I need water. I've got to feed my army of peasants. Anyone who's seen the new Willy Wonka film, by the way, right?
With Hugh Grant as a
Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant, Oompa Loompa is a combination I never knew I wanted until I saw it.
And now you can't live without it.
Fucking incredible. But one of my favourite characters is one of the evil chocolate makers. You can't say the word poor. Oh, he's sick. When he mentions poor people, he's like, it's well done. He used to do, what's the Horrible History TV programme? Anyway.
Horrible Histories?
Yeah. But yeah, it's very compatible with old stuff. It's great. Have a well of a time. Thank you, Kazarian. Vampire Counts and Vlad von Carstein would have got me interested. That's purely from previous investment in it. Without that, it's demastered AoS, in my opinion. I think so.
I get it.
I get it 100%. Like, I'm going to get my vampires into Old World, just through a few round base size changes, I think. But the timeline for the current fantasy Old World is Vlad's not even born yet.
But you still get rule support.
They still get rules.
So
Day one, they get rules.
It says about the investments. If you've still got all the models, you can use it all.
Yeah, it'll be in my interest will be whether when you go to events, whether the stuff that has a Legends-based rule set will be allowed. I imagine a lot of people will allow it because you're basically cutting your market in half.
GW have said no. Factorum are the only people that I know who've talked about fantasy. I keep calling it fantasy. Old World events have said yes. I reckon, like you've just said, most of the events that are ran by the community for the community will probably say yes.
Yeah, I think so because obviously it's early days and there's people that'll be like, "Well, I played Vampire Counts before. It's the only army I liked. I still have it in my." I think, I can't play it now for 2 years. I have to buy a new army. So I think a lot of people that run events will be like, just bring it, come and play. Like we need arses in seats, you know?
Yes, 100%, absolutely.
And I think anyone that says that you can't use the legend stuff is doing themselves a disservice.
Agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, there will come an issue in the distant future where balance might be a thing for events specifically.
Yeah.
Where old Legend stuff doesn't see rules updates and rule support.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes kind of this big disconnect between some of the older books and some of the newer stuff.
It's early days. You might.
But right now, I'd say that
it's early days. We might find in 4 months' time, someone playing Chaos Dwarfs has got a broken as shit army because it's not been looked into properly.
Yeah.
Then that might be when people would be like, no.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But by then, we might have seen more army boxes come out.
Well, not according to chat.
Not according to chat.
They were very much
not
a
according to LVO.
They were mostly a 2 there.
Games Workshop dropped the ball on that one, didn't they?
What?
LVO announcement of all the reviews. What's not getting reviewed?
Old World.
Old World.
Brilliant. I'm so glad there's yet more reveals in America on American time from this British company.
They've changed the time though. You don't have to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning now.
No?
You get up at 5
In the morning?
in the morning.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Top banana, that.
Bus drivers get to watch it.
Well done.
Thank you, Megan, for 5 gifted memberships. You didn't have to take what I said about one so personally, but thank you.
Oh, Meg! If you haven't already, Meg runs a channel with her dearest husband, Zach, called Hobby Collab. Hobby Collab. She normally is in as Hobby Collab instead of Meg. Check them out. They do some cool hobby content. They typically stream building and painting, mostly Age of Sigmar stuff, but they're just good guys that are fun to hang out with. So check out their stuff. They're amazing. We love them. Apparently, all the legacy armies are as complete as those in the Forces of Fantasy Reveling Hordes. They just won't get arcane journals and new units. Exactly. Yeah. Fully playable. You can get movement trays that fit Circle Bakers. Yes, you can.
Yes, I've already been on eBay.
Thank you, James.
Megan says, come to Old Town Throwdown teams in SoulCal this November. It's so fun. I can't afford to go to America, so I won't.
Mandy, yeah, I can't afford to go too often. Mandy says 5 a.m. is late, you should be up earlier. Look, unlike you, this doesn't take 2 hours, all right? So
I don't go to bed until like midnight, 1 o'clock, because I can't. What happens is, if I go to bed before 11, I sit awake until 1.
Uncle Buck says, are the Legacy Army rules out? I don't think so. If I'm honest with you, I would assume they won't come out until everything is on general sale rather than pre-order, and then you'll probably see them all released then, which will be interesting because I guess it just stops people from using them before everything. I don't know. I don't think they're out now. I don't think they're out for a while. So cool. Right, you people are amazing. We've gone again 20 minutes over because it's just nice chatting to you wonderful folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today and talking about Old World. Like I said, really sad about the launch weekend. Sad that people haven't managed to get their hands on the products that they wanted. A little bit sad that content creators have been abused. But I personally believe, hold my hands up here, I personally believe GW should reassess how they do their preview program. I'm open. I'll just take a small consultation fee, GW. I'm open to tell you how to do it well.
The problem is, right, is that the moment Games Workshop sell out of something on opening weekend, content creators will always be the first ones to get, not attacked, but get, well, they'll be the ones that go under the bus. It happened with the Kill Team, happened with the Lion, It's happened with other stuff where content creators have got it, Games Workshop sold out, and people go, you!
Yeah,
they point at you like the evil monkey.
Unfortunately, the big green monster comes out, people get a bit jealous.
Yeah.
And then what, instead of going, I didn't get a set and it's GW's fault for stock issues, they go, if only you stop sending all those sets to creators. And I'm like, I genuinely think that if you actually believe for one moment that sending those sets to creators makes such a dent in GW's top-end stock that they sell to potential buyers, if you actually think that makes a big dent, you should probably just take yourself off a cliff somewhere. You're that stupid. You shouldn't. I'm joking, obviously, but it's not even.
The thing is, though, in Games Workshop's defence, I imagine whoever's in the accounting kind of booking department is really fucking hard because you think 40k sells really well, AoS not so much. Our last release of Imperialis sold poorly. Like, didn't sell as much as we'd hoped. Warhammer Fantasy's not been around for 20 years. Is that going to sell as well? Like, how much are we going to invest in this? The price.
Okay, right.
I imagine.
I don't think they've got a hard job at all, Joe. I think they're just fucking stupid.
Games Workshop watching this. He said it, not me.
What have they done over recent years? What new system have they bought over recent years?
Titanicus?
No. In terms of how to buy things, there's a new system they bought in over the recent years. It specifically happened when they ran out of box sets, I think it was for 9th edition, when 9th edition first launched. And they went, don't worry if you didn't get a box. Here is our made-to-order window.
The only downside to made-to-order is that it takes them half a year.
No. They put a 180-day window on it to give them time to get it out, which I think they're giving themselves a little bit too much of a bumper there.
To put it into context, if I bought Gabriel Seth 6 months ago when it went made to order, I would be receiving him on Valentine's Day, not till next month.
You'd probably be getting it earlier. The amount of time I've bought a few made-to-order things which have quoted 180 days, and a month, 2 months later they've turned up. It very often doesn't take 180 days. They just give themselves headroom. But I think that I have no problems with them. I think some of this is communication-based, but I have no problems with going, you know what, we've got 100,000 sets that we've made. Once those 100,000 sets are gone, one per customer, I agree, by the way. Once those 100,000 sets are gone, we'll turn on made-to-order. So once the 100,000 sets of the Bretonians are out the door, made to order on. You're not going to get it on release day, but you are guaranteed to get a set from us.
Is it made to order? Because they know they're going to have to make a second batch, because these aren't limited boxes.
They're not, or they are?
They're not. These aren't limited boxes.
Oh, okay.
These are going to be around for the next year or so, or whatever, until they do, I don't know, the 10th edition of whatever this is. So these will be back in stock to buy. So they could say you get guaranteed stock for when the next batch comes in.
Here's their problem, Joe, is they're a multi-million-pound company that are too reactive and not proactive.
Yeah.
That's their issue, in a nutshell. They react rather than make sure things are in place. So they don't sit there and go, okay, team, right, we're on the coffee machine now. Right, team, what happened? Right, Old World release is coming out. What happens if it sells out in an hour? Because it's a possibility. It's the amount of times they release a new product. Yeah. We talked about the Lion. We talked about Kill Team After Dark. We talked about all these products. The amount of times they release a product and it sells out rapidly and it's gone.
Yeah.
So why isn't some moronic fucking manager at Lenton Road saying, Old World's huge release, big nostalgia push on this one. Yeah. We've been doing articles about it for 2 months. We've been showing everybody the rules. We announced it back at fucking Warhammer Fest in May 2023, right? Yeah. So we've given people a 7-month lead up to this release. What we're going to do if it sells out? Why is someone not asking that question? And they go, oh, actually, what happens if it does sell out? I tell you what we'll do. If it sells out, an hour after it sells out on the website, we'll launch a made-to-order scheme where people can still queue up, get in, made-to-order, one per customer, and we'll go, right, we sold 100,000 copies, or however many it is, we actually need another 20,000 copies, right? Why is no one asking that question? Because what else are they doing? This is the thing that frustrates me the most about this thing. Yes, this is great for customers as they go, I'm going to get a box. It won't take 180 days. It just doesn't. But I'm going to get a box guaranteed. You know what else happens for GW? They've just sold 20,000 more copies. And they're not going to sell overstock because we've sold 20,000 more copies, so we know we need to make 20,000 copies. We don't have to then go, we'll make 50,000. Fuck, we only sold 20,000.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Business isn't hard, Joe. It's not difficult.
Apparently it is.
Anyway, before we really tumble down that rabbit hole, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. You people have been incredible. Thank you for all the incredible gifts, the super chats, etc. Big shout out to John for 50 gifted yet again. You fucking legend. I love you very dearly. You people that are amazing. We're going to pack all this shit up now, switch all the cameras around, and get ready for this evening's game, where you will see Joe taking on Eddie, Chaos Space Marines.
Yes, yeah, I've got some new models to play with. So
Chaos Space Marines versus, I believe, Necrons is what he's bringing, and he only ever brings cool, fun, chill narrative lists. So look forward to that game this evening at 7:30. Yeah. I will be producing with, say hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
It doesn't quite work, but no. It's the best I can squeeze it in there. So Kyle will be here as well. I'll be producing on the deck for you wonderful people tonight. So come and hang out with us from 7:30. Like I said, from next week, we're going to be looking at bringing in the warm-up show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you can just watch Joe make his tables. Warning, he doesn't naked, but you can watch Joe make his game tables for the evenings as well.
Yeah.
A huge shout out for the support so far in January this month. People, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. You guys are incredible. I don't know why I'm having a hard start to the year. I'm not having a great time. But these guys always make me smile. I went on stream on Friday for the 40K After Dark show, and I was like, I didn't want to stream. I can't be bothered. And I came off cheerful and laughing. Yeah. You people are amazing. So thank you so much. That's about it, I think.
Yeah.
Old World especially if you loved it in the past, I think is going to be great. If you never played it in the past and you don't like this kind of detailed strategy, though, if I was you, I'd avoid it. That's my bottom line. Yeah. Anything you want to say about it before we disappear?
I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited. I really enjoyed playing him. I'm going to enjoy playing the others. I just love the fantasy setting, and it's like you've got like it's like it fits. AoS is very very high fantasy, whereas like Old World is grim dark fantasy. I love it. Loads.
Yeah, cool. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye. Have a wonderful time.